Thomas Jefferson wrote the most powerful sentence in American history: "All men are created equal." Yet throughout his life, he owned more than 600 enslaved human beings. He spoke endlessly about liberty, freedom, and human rights while personally benefiting from a system built on bondage. Thomas Jefferson was not a simple hero and not a simple villain. He was a contradiction. Understanding Jefferson means understanding the early United States itself, a nation built on revolutionary ideals, yet deeply limited by fear, compromise, and human weakness. Thomas Jefferson was born on April 13, 1743, in Shadwell, Virginia, into a wealthy plantation family. His father, Peter Jefferson, was a respected land surveyor and slave owner. His mother, Jane Randolph Jefferson, belonged to one of Virginia's most elite families. From birth, Jefferson lived in privilege, surrounded by land, status, and enslaved labor. He was the third of 10 children. When Jefferson was 14 years old, his father died suddenly. This event forced him to inherit land and enslaved workers at a young age, shaping his understanding of responsibility and power. Jefferson was deeply intellectual. He studied Latin, Greek, mathematics, philosophy, architecture, and science. At the College of William and Mary, he was influenced by Enlightenment thinkers who believed reason and law, not monarchy, should guide society. These ideas stayed with Jefferson for life. He believed education was the foundation of freedom and that an informed citizenry was essential for a republic to survive. However, even as he embraced Enlightenment ideals, Jefferson lived comfortably within a slave-based economy. This contradiction would follow him throughout his career. Jefferson entered politics as tensions between Britain and the American colonies intensified. As a young lawyer in Virginia, he gained attention for his clear writing and principled arguments against British authority. In 1774, he published a pamphlet claiming Parliament had no right to govern the colonies. This instantly made him a rising political figure. In 1775, Jefferson was sent to the Second Continental Congress. There, in 1776, he was selected to draft the Declaration of Independence. Jefferson's words reshaped history. His argument that governments exist to protect natural rights influenced democratic movements worldwide, yet compromise shaped the document. Jefferson originally included a condemnation of slavery, but it was removed to avoid dividing the colonies. Independence was achieved, but moral clarity was sacrificed. After independence, Jefferson served as governor of Virginia during the Revolutionary War. His leadership was criticized when British forces invaded the state and he failed to organize an effective defense. This damaged his reputation and taught him the limits of idealism without preparation. Jefferson's greatest achievement also carried a lasting consequence. By removing slavery from the Declaration of Independence, Jefferson helped secure unity but delayed justice. The issue of slavery was pushed into the future rather than resolved. This decision allowed the nation to form, but it planted the seeds of division that would later lead to civil war. Jefferson understood this danger, yet feared that confronting slavery directly would destroy the fragile new nation. His choice preserved independence but compromised equality. Jefferson's influence continued to grow after the Revolution. He served as minister to France, where he witnessed the early stages of the French Revolution. The experience strengthened his belief that monarchies were dangerous and that concentrated power inevitably led to tyranny. Later, as Secretary of State under President George Washington, Jefferson clashed fiercely with Alexander Hamilton. Jefferson believed Hamilton's financial plans favored elites and threatened democracy. This rivalry led to the formation of America's first political parties. Jefferson became the leader of the Democratic Republicans, opposing centralized power and advocating for farmers and states' rights. In the election of 1800, Jefferson defeated John Adams. The election was bitter, divisive, and nearly broke the young republic. Jefferson's victory marked the first peaceful transfer of power between political rivals in American history. Thomas Jefferson became the third president of the United States in 1801. He promised a simpler government, lower taxes, and reduced military power. His goal was to protect individual liberty by limiting federal authority. One of his most significant decisions was the Louisiana Purchase in 1803. Jefferson doubled the size of the United States by purchasing land from France. Ironically, the purchase exceeded his constitutional authority. Jefferson hesitated, knowing the Constitution did not explicitly grant him this power. Yet he believed the opportunity was too important to miss. The purchase secured America's future, strengthened national security, and accelerated westward expansion. It is considered one of the greatest presidential decisions in U.S. history. Jefferson believed deeply in a strict interpretation of the Constitution. Yet, when faced with the Louisiana Purchase, he abandoned that principle. This decision saved the nation, but revealed Jefferson's flexibility when ideals conflicted with reality. It showed that even the strongest beliefs could bend under pressure. Jefferson's presidency proved that leadership often requires choosing between purity and progress. Jefferson's presidency was not without failure. His Embargo Act of 1807 attempted to punish Britain and France by cutting off American trade. Instead, it devastated the U.S. economy, harmed merchants, and angered citizens. The policy failed and was eventually repealed, damaging Jefferson's popularity. Jefferson also failed to address slavery. While he privately criticized the institution, he freed very few enslaved people during his lifetime. Economic dependence and political fear outweighed moral conviction. These failures complicated Jefferson's legacy and exposed the limits of his leadership. Jefferson believed slavery was morally wrong, yet he believed emancipation would cause chaos. This belief allowed him to postpone action indefinitely. His inaction preserved stability in his lifetime, but left future generations to confront the consequences. Jefferson understood the problem. He simply could not solve it. After leaving the presidency in 1809, Thomas Jefferson retired to his plantation, Monticello, in Virginia. Jefferson never remarried. His wife, Martha Wales Jefferson, had died in 1782, nearly 2 decades before he became president. Her death deeply affected him, and he never fully recovered from the loss. Together, Thomas and Martha had 6 children, but only 2 daughters survived to adulthood: Martha Patsy Jefferson Randolph and Mary Polly Jefferson Apess. Like many families of the era, disease and limited medical knowledge claimed the lives of their other children at young ages. In retirement, Jefferson devoted himself to education, architecture, and writing. His proudest achievement after the presidency was founding the University of Virginia. He believed education was essential to preserving liberty and personally designed the campus, curriculum, and philosophy of the institution. Despite his status and achievements, Jefferson died deeply in debt. Monticello was later sold by his family to cover his financial obligations, revealing the economic fragility behind his public greatness. Thomas Jefferson died on July 4, 1826, exactly 50 years after the Declaration of Independence was signed. On the same day, his former political rival and fellow founder, John Adams, also died. Jefferson left behind no direct political dynasty, but he left something far larger: the language, ideas, and contradictions that continue to shape the United States. Thomas Jefferson gave America its words, its vision, and its contradictions. He believed in freedom but lived within limitation. He feared tyranny but struggled with responsibility. He shaped democracy while failing to complete it. Jefferson's legacy is not perfection, it is complexity. And perhaps that is why his story still matters today.